So, the second way that the African parenting style and the African society grooms their daughters, grooms women to be victims in abusive relationships is teaching women that their value is tied to their age, and basically all women expire at 30. All right, so I'm just going to read it out again. So, teaching women that their value is tied to their age, and basically all women expire at 30. I just need to. I just need to take a sip. All women expire at 30. Isn't that so beautiful when you think about it? You know why I'm smiling so hard right now? Because when I think back to when I was still caged under this belief that women expire at 30, like thinking about it now, given where I am today mentally, I just feel like laughing at myself so hard. Like I've done this before where I would just like randomly sit down and I would think about some of those limiting beliefs that I used to have when I was much younger. And I would just like laugh. And it's not funny. But you know when something is truly not funny, like something is like death serious, but like the emotion, the weight of it is just so much that you just have to laugh it out. That is how I feel right now. Women expire at 30. Says the men who have never met real women, the men who have never had a real woman. Like, have you met real women? Even I, as a young woman, like I am in awe. I am in awe of how some women think, like how beautifully intelligent and beautifully, oh my goodness, like women are like. So hey guys, welcome or welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, hi, I am Damsey and you are most welcome to this crystal amazing community where we talk all things lifestyle, beauty, mindsets, and femininity. So if you are someone who is all about real talks, no filters needed, you are highly accountable. This is a place for you, okay? Like you're all about self-growth, you're all about self-realization, mindfulness, and wholesome, healthy living. This is a channel for you. So join us in, subscribe to the channel, turn on my post notification. Welcome to the community. Here I do only like real talks. Even the beauty and skincare videos, they're all real talks. It is just me bringing to you what works and what is real. No marketing gimmicks here, no sponsored video here. So everything is just from the experience of a user, from the experience of someone who has actually experienced it. So these are the kind of stories and content that I make here. So if you're someone who has an appreciation for realistic value, this is a place for you to subscribe, because I am all about things that are real, things that are true and authentic. So if you're that kind of person, of course, like subscribe to this channel. You're highly welcome to this community. The way God created women is, I think, honestly, like I'm not trying to be biased, but I really think that women are one of the most unique creatures that God put on this earth. And it's so painful to me that people, society, and by that I'm not just saying only men, perhaps the whole narrative started with men, like during the time when patriarchy was super heavy, and men basically ran the world and women were basically properties. But I am not here to put blame. It's not about gender. This has gone beyond a gender war. So I'm not going to say, oh, it's men's fault or men did it or it's women's fault. No. To think like how God made women an irreplaceable link in the existence of mankind, to think that there was actually a time that the world generally believed that women were at the bottom, like at the bottom of the pyramid when it comes to value attached to a living thing. Women were at the bottom. Women were just almost the same value of ants. Like the way we all go about our day every day, like we walk to different places and we probably step on more ants than we realize, but no one is ever checking. No one is thinking that we're just like going and going and going. To think that there was a time that women were placed at that level of respect, it's something that really disturbs my soul. And it's even crazier that, even till this day, with all the technology and all the exposure and information and the internet and everything going on, there are still some people that are still deep, deep in this belief. There are still younger guys that carry this belief with them that, you can just spray some cash and women are supposed to fall on their knees and worship you. It's really sad. It's really sad. But let's talk about women expiring at 30, which is where I am going. Okay. So I left a post a couple of days ago how that the whole narrative of, women are supposed to give birth before 30 or before 35, if not like their time to give birth, it expires. Like in that article, I basically explained how that women's biological clock is not even as short. It's not the way it's been painted in media. So I'm not going to go into full explanation here for the sake of time that I'm trying to stick to. I'm going to leave a link down below to the post. So you guys go read up on it. Anyways, long story short, it is the men who actually have to be more self-conscious of their biological clock than women. And that article kind of explains how that is most likely the truth. So that kind of cancels out the idea that women who are already above childbearing age are of lesser value. That cancels out the idea. Now let's talk about the real value of women. Now in the Bible makes us understand that women are meant to be helpmates, right? That is an assistance, right? So I was thinking to myself, when the CEO of a very, very highly successful company is looking out for a personal assistant, like the job of a personal assistant is basically the job of the CEO. It's just that the personal assistant will be the one to do most of the heavy lifting in order to allow the CEO more time and space to, do other visionary kind of thing. So that puts the assistants in a very okay, so usually in the case of politics now, you have president, then you have a vice president. The vice president, like they are the ones doing the bulk of the work. They are the ones carrying the bulk of the load of the work. So when you really look at it, when you really, really look at that political structure and the work structure, when you really look at it, like who holds the most power in the success of the company, in how the company goes, right? You know that a company is reliant on its employees, but most employees don't even get a day-to-day interaction with the CEO. So it's usually the person who speaks for the CEO, the person who is like the representative of the CEO, the one who interacts with everybody else. So that person is like the ambassador of the CEO. That person is the representative of the value of the CEO, like the value of the vision of the CEO, the value of the vision of the company. So that is the person that people look at. That is the person that the employees are trying to be like. So basically what that means is the success of that organization, it mainly lies on that one individual. So yeah, people can say that the CEO has power, but I honestly think, I might be wrong, but I think that the person who holds the real power is the person that the people can see, the people can relate to, right? Which in this case is the assistants, the helpmate, the person helping the real man on the seat. So that is the person that holds the power, right? And that is the position of women. So when you think about that as a reasonable man, and I'm really like stressing on that reasonable, Reasonable in the sense that like you have a vision for your family, the family you want to build, you have a goal in mind, you have a place that you're going towards, you have a goal that you want to hit before you leave this world. You are a visionary leader, that kind of thing. When you consider that, right, you're not going to just look for women who just simply look like women. You're going to want to look for women of substance. Now, this is where I feel like a lot of men get it wrong these days, maybe because of how popular, this red pill movement is now, and like all this toxic masculinity dating advice that's just flying around everywhere. You want to see women of value. Now, this is not me trying to put down younger women. I'm actually in the category of younger women, right? This is not me trying to put them down. But if you want to talk about women that are more valuable, they are often not found in the younger women. Yes, most of them are moldable because they don't yet have a lot of experience. But the truth is, a lot of them are just like even the older women. They've had like a bunch of trauma imprinted on their soul. No girl at that young adult age is 100% pure as men think. Like, there is already so much imprinted on their soul. Now, it's not the case for everyone, but for most young girls, that is how it is. The thing is, they appear that way because they've not really grown into who they are, right? But in the case of the older women, now older is not necessarily by age, I mean by maturity. And maturity sometimes, like this maturity can actually be found in even like girls younger than 25, girls younger than 20 sometimes. It's rare, but it can occur like that, right? So by older, I'm talking about more mature women, right? So in the case of more mature women, they faced life. They have faced real issues. Not only have they experienced real issues, but what really qualifies them, what really makes them extra special is the fact that not only have they faced those issues just like everybody else, but they have found a way to survive it. They have found an art of surviving and, taking care of those problems and still looking like women. You ever heard the saying, you don't look like what you're going through? That is something that I receive a lot of times. Sometimes I don't know if I should take it as a compliment or something else, but for the most part, I take it as something good. I think if anything, it's a testament to how well I carry myself, despite everything that I have been through and despite everything that I am going through. So I think for a woman, it can be a good compliment, right? That is a superpower that only mature women have. That is a superpower that she has. Like, she's that kind of woman that is still going to represent you despite whatever friction you guys have going on at home. When you guys come out to the world, she can still carry herself because she has already learned the art of managing these things. And in addition, she is going to always find a way to solve it because a mature, healthy, healed woman, she does not believe that is how life should be. So she will definitely try to work on solutions to make things lighter, to make things better for the sake of, especially the children, if you guys have offspring, so that the children will not, take in all this toxic energy that the parents are giving out, and that becomes their own identity as well. It is a mature woman that would understand how serious that is. It is not something that young girls would understand. So you want to talk about a valuable assistant. It is not an assistant that simply just knows how to say yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. You want an assistant that can think on their feet. You want an assistant that has experience with solving real life problems, actual problems, and an assistant that knows how to control or take care of those problems in such a way that it doesn't lead to an explosion or basically crashing the whole company, just like what is going on with the House of the Dragon writers right now. Like, you bring in new people to write a story that is already famous, doing well, is making big bucks. You bring in these new people who don't have real experience with this kind of story. or this kind of entertainment. And what they are doing is literally destroying the fan base of, like the Game of Thrones universe right now with House of the Dragon. That is literally like a real life example of what it looks like when you, as a man who has all the rights, of course, like you are the initiator of every relationship. You are picking someone who does not have experience to go with you on a journey that requires some level of life skills. So you see how the world tricks men to believe that the real value is in the yes girls. And it doesn't mean that they're all yes girls, really. But I mean, when you look at it on the surface, what does it mean to be moldable? It means to be very agreeable. I think that a reasonable and true visionary leader does not just want a woman that is a yes girl, someone that is malleable and agreeable and just submissive alone. I think he wants a woman that also has a mind of her own, someone who is capable of bringing in a different idea, a different perspective to problems. Someone who could even occasionally, sometimes even bring in a better idea. Because at the end of the day, it's supposed to be a partnership. But if you're the only captain riding your boat, you're just going to ride to a point where you wake up one day, your kids have deserted you, you have no connection with your wife. It's just like you're just alone in the house that you've built. This is what happens when you are the captain to robots. Like you are the captain of a ship that is, carrying robots. Yes girls, yes kids, yes, yes children, and yes wife. That is what happens. Like when the ship is sinking, when it's going down, you're going to feel it the most, because it is then it will dawn on you that you are alone in this boat, because you picked yes people. And it's not bad enough that you pick them. You never encourage them to be themselves. You never encourage them to realize their fullest potential. You're just desperate for power. Now see where that power has led you to. And I'm not going to start giving you guys real life examples of men or fathers that have, experienced this real life. But go and learn from the older men. Go and learn from grandfathers, not the millennial parents now. No shades to the millennial parents. I just think that, most of them in that age group like they're still all learning. We're still figuring things out, right? So, but go and learn from people who are already close to like the end of their lives. Let them teach you, because at that point, like their pride is not as high as the millennials, like the Gen X and all of that. Like some of them still have pride, so they might not even teach the truth. Some of them might, but some, like a good number of them, won't. So you really want to learn pure fatherly truth as a man. Go and learn from grandfathers. Go and learn from fathers in the village. That sort of thing, like old men in their 70s, in their 80s, they're still alive. Learn from them. Some of them might be toxic advice, but one thing you're guaranteed to get is that it's going to be pure. So if the man is a toxic man, you'll be able to see it. Like it will be very clear to you from how he says what he's saying. But if he's not a toxic man, that means you have a wealth of knowledge that is about to just, rain down on you. The whole point I'm just trying to make with this particular point is that I believe that women's value increases as she ages. It increases as she ages, because giving birth is not going to be all that marriage is about. It's not going to be all that life is about, really. The thing again is that I feel like even the giving birth, it's just put at such a finality for women. Like women in their divine feminine energy, they have a natural nurturing ability. What that means is she doesn't have to have given birth to know what it means to be nurturing, to learn what it means to be nurturing, to learn how to be nurturing, which maybe that is what some guys are concerned about, but who knows, right? Some single girls are even more nurturing than some mothers, trust me. Some single girls are more nurturing than some mothers. There are some mothers who their daughters and their sons, like they don't discuss their secrets with their mothers. That is because they are not feeling that nurturing energy. They're not feeling it, whereas they are telling it to their friends. The softer person, the softer guy or softer girl in their friend group, because that person has a more nurturing personality. So it is not giving birth that determines a woman's ability to nurture and groom a child or a family. So we just keep limiting people, and it is also not a man's ability to father a child that unlocks his ability to lead and direct a family. It is something that God embedded in us. So for the people who paid attention and actually groom up that innate quality, it becomes them when they get to their adult age. It becomes who they are. It's not something that they struggle to do anymore, because it is who they are. Like, they've groomed it from, that their childhood stage. So that is the whole point. You want a good woman, you want your daughter to be a good woman someday. You groom her from when she's still a child. That's the whole point. You groom her. So you want to talk about the value of a woman. If the real value of a woman, she's born with that value. But it increases even more the more she experiences, the more she conquers things, like moving forward. Basically, the more she matures, the more her value goes up. That is the truth. But of course, this is not popularly being shown in the news. It's not popularly being displayed in the news. But I mean, this is 2024, you guys. You should be smart enough by now to know that majority of what you see on the news is put there intentionally to make us act and think a certain way. If you want to know real truth, talk to people who are facing real life and they are actually taking out the time. They are being accountable. They are working on themselves. Those are people that can teach you real stuff. So honestly, it just boils down to you guys and what you believe. Moving on, we have a third point. I'm going to be very brief. So the third way that the African parenting style and African society groom their daughters for domestic abuse in relationships is not teaching what healthy relationships look like. Not teaching what healthy relationship looks like. Yeah, this particular one is a bit closer to home. I feel like a lot of parents. Okay, so there are different kinds of like unintentional African parents, right? I think there are like two types, right? There are the ones that are like super, super abusive, and there are some ones that are somewhat just downright ignorant. They don't teach they don't teach their kids anything at all. Hold on, let me stop and start this video again. So as I was saying, they do not teach their kids anything of value, anything about the future at all. So what this kind of parents do is that, for the most part, sometimes they can be the well-to-do parents, like they are earning well, so like poverty is not really their issue. They are earning well, but guess what? This is what they do, right? They earn a lot and they invest their kids in the best schools, the best education, all these other things. Like, all they do is basically like outsource the raising, the grooming of their kids to organizations that have marketed themselves as premium luxury, like the best of the best, right? So they outsource their children to these organizations, schools, homeschooling, all these other things to raise their kids. And when one looks at that, you would think, okay, it's not bad. And truly, it's not that bad. It's really not bad. It's really not that bad. But here's the thing I want to address, right? Where the real issue is, or where the real problem with this is that these parents just they do not make any effort. They think that like parenting can be outsourced, and that is one of the biggest lies. That's one of the biggest lies that is so commonly told nowadays, that parenting can be outsourced because you have money and you have to work and you're so busy. Nah, It cannot be outsourced. A healthy child, a healthy child. What I mean by that is a child that is going to grow up to be a confident man, a confident woman tomorrow, a man of value, a woman of value tomorrow, is a child that requires the presence of a father and the presence of a mother in their formative years, at least in their formative years, like an active mother and an active father in the house. When you leave your kids to the environment to help nurture, the crazy thing is you do not know where these people, this environment, these people that you are entrusting your child with, you do not know where they're coming from. I mean, look at the internet, for instance. Look at the amount of negativity that is on the internet alone. That is an environment. That is a form of outsourcing. Oh, mommy, I want pancake. Well, boy, I don't have time to make pancake for you. Okay, just take my tablet and, watch Teletubbies. You can go on Twitter, do stuff. That is an environment. You're, outsourcing. This child is crying for something. He needs something from you. And you're giving him a tablet, an iPad to use to just, I mean, that is a form of outsourcing parenting. And guys, there are so many documentaries, like so many information I need to share on this topic, but I just can't squeeze it into this video. I didn't even mean for this video to be this long. I feel like I'm actually watching the time. I feel like I've been here for almost 2 hours now. Almost 2 hours. Like, I still feel like I haven't gotten out everything that I need to get out. You're outsourcing your kids until they grow up one day and they start exhibiting behaviors, and then you look at them and you're like, I do not understand what my child has become. I do not understand how he or she got to this point. Like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, no. That is what you get for outsourcing your children for someone else to raise. They will not become your children because you did not raise them. It was the school that raised them. It was the environment. And there's so many evil elements out there in the world nowadays. Honestly, like, women have this innate need to be safe. That is because we are the weaker vessels. And it's interesting how that a lot of us women, we're not aware of the fact that we are aware that our natural inclination, our natural motivation is basically to be safe. Safety is very important for us. So when women pass through that puberty stage, right, they start to lean towards more of self-preservation. So they're not thinking of danger. They want to be safe, right? So it's because of this innate nature for safety. It is part of what makes women even more vulnerable to men who seem like the provider men. Because, I always say this, like, whenever women talk about, wanting to get with a man that is rich, a man that has money, it's never about the money. It's not about the money. Women don't even care about money, really. We don't care about money. It's about the security that money can afford us. It's about the fact that money can put a roof over my head. It's about the fact that money can buy me nice glass cups like this, so I don't have to, envy what my female friends have in their own houses. It's about the fact that money can make me go to bed and sleep peacefully, knowing that should it rain and the wind blows off the roof of this house, like, there is money to quickly relocate to a hotel to continue sleeping that night. Like, I won't be homeless. Security. So it's never about the money. It's about the security. And this is why it leaves a lot of women, highly susceptible to predators. But I just kept thinking to myself, if women were raised to actually realize their worth, to know that their worth does not lie in whether their wombs can bear children or not, that their worth as a mother does not lie on that factor alone, right? And their worth as a beautiful woman who will be desired by men does not lie in her youth alone, that it lies in something much more. It lies in her essence and how high quality her essence is. So it's basically all about the essence. So this is the message that I just want to give out to women out there. And it is my dream, and I hope that women would, would get to a point, especially as a black community, that one day we would all get to a point where women, know their value. And for the men, all I can say is let's all be patient with each other, and also learn to understand what true value is, and also try to really sit down and think within yourself what you define as a high value woman, or as a woman what you define as a high value man. Think within yourself, is it something that you believe is high value, or is it something that was projected onto you by people who are not even living the life of high value, like what it means to be high value? Is it? So basically, I feel like I kind of ranted in this video, but yeah, leave a comment in the comment section down below if you find any value in this video. Share your own story with us if you have any story, relating to this topic of violence, relating to the topic of domestic abuse going forward, right? Like we're talking solution now. How do you think we can raise our daughters, and even us as young women who are not yet married and all of that? Like, what are the things that we can do to improve our innate value and quality, and also like make ourselves less prone to meeting predatory men, or ending up in predatory relationships or abusive relationships, all those sort of things. So share with us in the comment section below if you hold that story. Please do not come to my WhatsApp DM to comment about this video. Please leave your comments in the comment section of this video here on YouTube. This is where it will be most appreciated, because when you do that, this video will get recommended to more viewers, and more people will get to learn from this topic as well. So if you really want to help, if you want to do this video, a great appreciation it is in sharing it. So share it in your various platforms, and leave a comment, leave a like, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.